Have you guys ever wondered what round a super boosted Etienne could make it to in Bloons BTD6 if you had the perfect map for Etienne to play on? Well, dudes, in today's video, that's exactly what we're going to be doing. So the thing with Etienne is that I don't know exactly what would be the best map design for him, because he does have a pretty big radius, but at the same time, once he gets up to level 20, he has global range. Like originally I was thinking about like doing like an oval pattern down here. So I was thinking about Etienne, and because Etienne can't receive the boost from the alchemist, I think I want to create a pathway where we can affect our Etienne with like the true sun temple as well as the true sun god. So the thing I'm thinking about doing is I'm thinking about creating a map where we can like place like the true sun god up top here, and then we'll place like our Etienne down here, and then we'll go ahead and make a pathway in the bottom of the map. That way our Etienne is getting the true sun god buff, and it's kind of making up for the fact that Etienne can't be permabrew. So guys, I'm gonna go ahead and get this map set up, and I'll bring you guys back as soon as I'm done. All right guys, so I think this is gonna do it for the map. Now, it's a pretty basic map, I know guys, but I thought this would be a really cool map design. Like you have like a boardwalk here that the balloons are going to go on, and then you have like the boardwalk that like branches off and it goes onto this beach area, which is going to give us a lot of room to like place down towers. On top of that, we should be able to sun temple buff our Etienne as well. So that's why I came up with this little bit of a design to make it easier to buff up our Etienne, right? So now that we have our map set up, let's go ahead and play and save our map. So the name of our map is going to be Etienne's Boardwalk, because I mean there's not really too much else to this map, right? So now that we've named our map, let's go ahead and play our map, and then after I beat this map, we'll go ahead and publish it. All right, and there we go. We have officially beaten our map. So if you guys would like to play this map for yourself, here is the code. So let's go ahead and jump into the game and see what round Etienne's going to be able to make it to. So of course, the first thing we'll do is we'll start off with our Etienne. Now with our Etienne, I want to place our Etienne a little bit further away from the track. Like, I know it's not going to be perfect, and we're probably going to get a couple of pops with our sun temple, but I think by having our Etienne like this far away, it should be fine. Now, one thing that's going to be a little bit more challenging with this compared to the other heroes is that we can't buff Etienne with an alchemist. So in order for our Etienne to pop lead balloons on round 28, we're going to need a MIB before round 28, which is going to be pretty tough. So the main thing, again, that we're going to have to do is we're going to have to try to get as many farms as we possibly can. But luckily, because we are playing on easy standard mode, it shouldn't be that big a deal, right? All right, so on round 20, I'm going to go ahead and stop my farming, and then we're going to go ahead and start saving up for our MIBs. So with our village, we'll go ahead and place our village right here. That way it's not in the way of too many things. We'll go ahead and upgrade it up to a bigger radius, and then we'll go ahead and grab a jungle drums, radar scanner, and then we need $6,000 for our MIB. Now, luckily, we can sell a couple of our farms, so we shouldn't have an issue with actually buying it, but there may be a little bit of an issue if we have to sell too many of our farms, right? Now, this may set us back a little bit with our farming, but it's definitely a purchase that we need to have, right? So after we bought our MIB, I ended up grabbing jungle drums too, because we don't have the option of buffing up our Etienne with a alchemist. So this is pretty much the only way that we're going to be able to get a early game buff on our Etienne. So now that we have all of these farms upgraded to 200, so let's go ahead and start upgrading all of these farms up to banana plantation. Now the bad part about Etienne is he is super weak in the early game. The only reason why he's doing decently is because he does have his level 3 ability. Like, if we weren't able to start off with his level 3, then we might have been in a little bit of trouble, right? Yeah, just look at this. This is so bad, guys. We definitely need to get Etienne up to level 20 before we, like, start going for a lot of buffs. Like, Etienne level 20 is going to be a necessity. Like, we're almost to the point right now where I think I should start investing money into our Etienne to level him up to, like, level 10 or something, because this is just so bad, guys. Like, it's a good thing that this track is so long that we can at least get Etienne's drones off a cooldown once before the balloons leave the map. Now, that's definitely not going to be the case once we get to the higher levels, but right now we have more than enough time to get Etienne's ability off a cooldown at least once. So now the fun part begins, because now our Etienne is past round 40. So man, dude, like, he's so bad in the early game. Like, it's actually ridiculous. Like, it's always like really crazy seeing like some of the heroes that do really well in the late game do so bad in the early game, right? Another thing that I'm thinking about buying, I'm thinking about buying the top pathway sub sooner rather than later. That way we can get Etienne's drones off a cooldown much sooner. I guess it really won't be that big a deal once our Etienne levels up a little bit more. But right now, this cooldown for Etienne's drones is just so bad. All right, so now our Etienne is level 10. Well, actually, I think I have it on the wrong. There we go. We need our Etienne to target first. And we finally have Etienne's main level 10 ability. So now we can do a lot more damage to these balloons. And we can actually alternate his abilities. So let's go ahead and activate Etienne's level 10. Yeah, dude, this is just such an overpowered ability. Then whenever our drone is on cooldown, we can activate Etienne's level 3, and that should help us out quite a bit, especially having 2 abilities, right? Yeah, so I definitely think the first thing we have to do after we have all of our farms upgraded, we definitely have to get Etienne to level 20. That's the only way that we're going to be able to survive in the early game. Like, I almost want to like stop upgrading my farms and just go straight for upgrading my Etienne. But the only problem with doing that is that I feel like it's going to end up hurting us more than helping us, right? Now we have quite a few of our farms upgraded to the BRFs. Now let's go ahead and start saving up for Banana Central. Then after we get the Banana Central, that's when we'll go ahead and start upgrading our Etienne all the way up until level 20. All right, so round 59, here's our Banana Central. So now that we have our Banana Central, dude, these balloons are just so obnoxious, guys. Let me go ahead and level up our Etienne right now. And yeah, dude, just leveling up our Etienne up to level 10 gave our drone so much more popping power. Now let's go ahead and upgrade our Etienne even more. Yes, dude, this is exactly what I wanted, guys. This is so much better. I almost wanted to grab my top pathway monkey sub, but like I was saying, getting Etienne to level 20 is definitely the priority. All right, round 63, our Etienne is now level 19. We just need one more level in order to get our Etienne up to level 20. And there we go. Oh, dude, that was such a pain in the butt just to get our Etienne up to level 20. But now that we have Etienne to level 20, we're finally free and we can start like grabbing other towers to boost up our Etienne. So the first thing I want to do is I want to grab myself that monkey sub to reduce the cooldown of all of Etienne's ability. Now the next thing we want to do, let's go ahead and grab ourselves an engineer monkey, and then with this engineer monkey, we'll go and upgrade it up to ultra boost. Then after we have our ultra boost, we'll go ahead and start ultra boosting our Etienne. And also, let's go ahead and grab ourselves the homeland defense. Now we have all of the buffing towers that we're going to be able to buy on our Etienne until we get like a true sun god. Whatever. Let's just go ahead and grab ourselves the support temple. I think this should be a pretty solid spot. Let me go ahead and grab myself the super mines, and then hopefully when we upgrade to the sun temple, it's going to be able to buff up our Etienne. Now, one thing that I don't like about this is that we can't move our temple after we upgrade it up to a tier 4. So hopefully this ends up working out. And oh, dude, that's definitely gonna hit the track. I didn't want it to hit the track, but I just don't know if there's gonna be anything that we could really do about it, right? Because I think when we upgrade to this true sun god, the range is gonna increase again. This is gonna be so annoying. Well, I think we really don't have a choice here. I think we need to sell our sun temple and then move our sun temple up, right? So let me try here. Wait, that's close. I think that's as close as I want to get. Is our Etienne getting the Sun Temple buff? It is not, which is kind of what I was expecting. We could always upgrade to his super range, but I think we could get away with just putting a village within range of our super monkey. But before I do that, I want to upgrade the super monkey up to his true sun god first. Now, unfortunately, it's a little bit unfair that our Etienne can't use a permabrew. That's like the whole reason why I'm going for the true sun god to buff up our Etienne. So hopefully you guys don't mind too much that I'm giving Etienne a little bit of an advantage over the other heroes. Because like the true sun god buff is pretty good, because the true sun god buff is going to give our Etienne plus 2 damage, plus 20% attack speed, plus 3% pierce, and plus 20% range, which is going to be absolutely crazy. So I think this is definitely going to make up for the fact that we weren't able to give our Etienne the permabrew buff. Now the true sun god buff is definitely better than the permabrew, because the permabrew only gives plus 1 damage, opposed to the true sun god that gives plus 2. Also, the true sun god gives 20% attack speed, whereas the permabrew only gives 17.6 attack speed, as well as it only increases the range by 15%, opposed to the 20% that they get from the true sun god. So, moment of truth. Hopefully we can affect our Etienne with the true sun god, and here we go. And is our Etienne getting the buff? It is not getting the buff. So let's just try to throw ourselves a village on top of our true sun god, and there we go. So now our Etienne is getting the buffer from our Sun Temple, so this should make up for the lack of permabrew. Now again, the only problem with the True Sun God is that it is slightly better than the permabrew effect, but because our Etienne isn't able to get the permabrew, again, this is like the only thing that I think would kind of make up for the fact that our Etienne wasn't able to get the permabrew effect. Now another thing that's going to be a little bit unfair compared to our other heroes is that the True Sun God is going to be able to get a couple of pops, especially up against bad balloons. I think it may affect his ZOMGs as well. So hopefully the Super Monkey doesn't get too many pops, but because we do have the Homeland Defense as well as the Call to Arms active quite a bit of the time, I feel like our True Sun God is going to get quite a few pops. Yeah, like it already has 840 pops. Man, I just hope that it doesn't get too many pops, because again, I didn't want to give my Etienne too big of an advantage. So hopefully the True Sun God doesn't give too big of a buff as far as like rounds are concerned, because again, our True Sun God is definitely going to be able to get a lot of pops. Now, I didn't grab any of the other sacrifices for the True Sun God, so it's going to be a pretty wimpy True Sun God. But even though it's wimpy, it's still a tier 5 tower, right, guys? And on top of that, it will have the Homeland Defense buff as well. So, guys, there's really not much else that we need to do now that we have the True Sun God buff. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and fast forward up until round 140 to see how our Etienne is going to do up against a reinforced bad balloon. Hey dude, so here we are on round 140. Let's see how our Etienne is going to do up against a reinforced bad balloon. So right away, he's not shredding the reinforced bad balloon as fast as Adora, which is not a good sign for our Etienne. So right now, I don't have too high hopes for our Etienne, even though he does have the True Sun God buff. So the Reinforced Baboon is on, I believe, its second pass. So once it reaches over here, it'll be on its third pass. And yeah, dudes, like there's no way our Etienne is going to be able to beat our Adora. But just because he's not able to beat our Adora doesn't mean he's not going to be able to beat our Churchill. But right now, our True Sun God has 750,000 pops compared to our Etienne that has 20 million. So again, I know guys, I know our True Sun God is going to get quite a few pops, but compared to our Etienne, it shouldn't have anywhere close to the amount of pops that our Etienne will have at the end of the game. So right now, I think I'm going to go ahead and fast forward up until like round 180, because at the very least, I do believe our Etienne should be able to keep up with our Quincy. Right, dude, so here we are on round 180. So as far as like the pop count is currently concerned, our Etienne is sitting at 118 million pops, whereas our True Sun God is sitting at 20 million pops. So this is one thing that I was a little bit concerned about. Like, I didn't expect the True Sun God to have this many pops. Well, actually, I shouldn't be too surprised, because, I mean, it is a tier 5 tower, even though it probably is one of the worst tier 5 towers in the game, especially when you don't have any sacrifices on it, right? But nonetheless, our Etienne still is dominating for pops, having 6 times more pops than our True Sun God. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and fast forward probably up until like round 188 or round 190, if, of course, our Etienne can make it as far as our Quincy and Churchill did. All right, dude, so here we are at the end of round 188, and as long as our Etienne can pop these last 2 ZOMGs, then our Etienne will have officially beaten our Quincy for the highest round. Now, unfortunately, our Etienne does have a little bit of an advantage with the True Sun God here, but even though the True Sun God does have 30 million pops, that's still a water in the bucket compared to our Etienne's 163 million pop. Now, judging from how long it's taking our Etienne to pop all these balloons, I have a feeling that our Etienne is probably going to end up failing here shortly. So guys, the next time you guys see me will be when Etienne inevitably ends up losing. Oh no, dudes, we ended up losing on round 199. But that's not too bad for our Etienne, even though he did get quite a bit of help from the True Sun God. So let's go ahead and take a look at the pop count really quick. So our Etienne ended up with 240 million pops. Not too bad at all. And then our True Sun God ended up getting 49 million pops. So obviously, our True Sun God ended up helping out quite a bit. So I think I need to hit Etienne with a little bit of a, I want to say a little bit of a penalty. So opposed to Etienne making it up to like round 199, I'd say Etienne would be able to make it up until like, we'll say around like round 195, maybe around 194, right? And I'm also going to be basing this off of the amount of pops that our Etienne got, because our Etienne ended up getting 239 million pops, whereas our Churchill ended up getting 201 million. I almost want to say that I should probably hit Etienne with a little bit more of a penalty. Maybe instead of like -5, we'll make it like -7. So if we hit Etienne with a -7 penalty, that will mean that our Etienne made it up until round 192. So right now, as the rankings stand, our Adora is in first place on round 217 with 538 million pops. Our Etienne is now in second place on round 192 with 239 million pops. Our Churchill is on round 190 with 201 million. Then comes our Quincy on round 188 with 133 million pops. Then our Soda on round 158 with 37 million pops. Then comes our Oben on round 140 with 20 million pops, followed by Admiral Brickle on round 131 with 14 million pops. And then in last place is going to be Corvus on round 130 with 13 million pops. But anyways, dudes, that's going to do it for the video. If you guys enjoyed, make sure you guys hit that like button. Also, if you guys are new around here, don't forget to subscribe as well, because I do upload quite a bit of Bloons TD6 content. But anyways, dudes, again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.